So, what do you think of that statement? That your worth can't increase or decrease? Are you buying it? That's what we're going to talk about today. Where your worth comes from and why it can't increase or decrease. Hi, I'm Sarah Engler. I'm an LDS therapist, coach, and author with more than 25 years of experience teaching women how to improve their emotional and mental health. Please keep in mind that the information shared in this video is for educational and personal development purposes only. If you are dealing with significant mental health issues, please reach out to a local mental health therapist for support. All right, so what are some of your favorites of God's creations? It might be specific foods. It could be animals that you love or a specific place in nature. But just consider for a second, what are some of your favorites? For me, it's trees. I love trees, all different kinds of trees. We have over 50 trees in our yard, and we were just talking about planting a few more. Yes, I'm aware I may need to talk to someone about my tree problem. Some of my current favorites are the pear trees. So in each season, there is beauty in these beautiful pear trees. In the spring, we get these beautiful white blossoms. And in the summer, the green leaves just dance in the wind. In the autumn, they turn a beautiful red. And even in the winter, when they are covered in snow. So consider for a second, what season would you say these pear trees have the most worth? The spring or the autumn? Or is it when they're young, full of potential? Or when they are mature, providing shade? At what point in their life do the trees have the most worth? You could ask yourself the same question about the favorites of God's creation that you identified. If it's that animal, if it's that sunset, at what point does that creation have the most worth? So I think you can start to recognize that worth of that creation doesn't change. We might have, favorite seasons or things like that, but the internal worth of that creation is constant. So where does your worth come from? When I ask women this question, typically the initial response I get is, I don't know. And then they'll, as we talk about it, come up with ideas of how productive I am, how successful, how educated, how good of a mother or wife, the callings that I have at church. None of these things are actually your worth. None of these things create your worth. Think about the last time you held a newborn baby. Could have been your own, a friend's, a niece or nephew, but think about what it felt like to hold that baby in your arms, to look down at that cute little face, even when they're screaming, to look down at that cute little face. Would you say that that baby has worth? I've yet to meet anyone who says no. Why? Why does that baby have worth? If we consider the things that we were just talking about, the baby's not educated, not productive, not successful, not contributing to society. So why does that baby have worth? Even in the heartbreaking circumstances, when a child comes into this world who is not loved or wanted, we would still quickly and easily say that baby has worth. Here's what worth is. It is inherent, meaning it is a permanent quality. It is intrinsic, meaning it belongs naturally. And it is constant. It does not change. So if we think about that baby's worth is permanent from day one. And actually, in our belief system, before day one. That worth is there naturally. It's not something that the baby ever had to earn or prove. And the worth of that child, for those of you who are parents, or those of you who love children, nieces and nephews, and kids that you work with, the worth doesn't change. So what does this mean about your worth? If every newborn baby that comes into this world has worth, if we believe that even before we came into this world, we had worth, and that worth is there permanently and it does not change, what does that say about your worth? You are a divine daughter of loving heavenly parents. That is permanent. It is natural, and it does not change. You cannot become more or less of a divine daughter of God based on choices you've made or mistakes that you've made. You can't earn your worth. Okay, so at some point in the process, I typically get the question, oh, okay, logically I can buy that, right? I can follow that rationale, but I don't feel it. I don't feel that worth. I'm not connected to it. And why is that? So some of the reasons are the messages that we take in from the world. Think about the messages that you get bombarded with on a daily basis about your worth. Is the world telling you that your worth is constant, or that you need to earn and prove your worth? We are constantly being given messages about how we have to do more and more and more to be good enough, to have worth. Those are false messages. But when we're bombarded with them our whole lives, day in and day out, it's easy to start buying into them, to start believing them. So this can be one reason that you may feel disconnected from your worth. How do you respond to yourself, especially when you make a mistake? Are you kind? Are you supportive? Are you remembering and honoring that you are a divine daughter of God? Most often we are super hard and super critical on ourselves. And that reinforces the idea that we are not good enough. Another reason can be when we get caught up in comparison to others. We shift our focus away from our own journey, our own path, and we see ourselves most often as less than someone else. Again, if each of us has worth that is permanent, that comes naturally, that does not change, we are all the same. No one is better than anyone else. No one is less than anyone else. But when we step into that comparison, we forget that. We lose that perspective and that connection about where our true worth really lies. Just the busyness and noise of life. I talk often about how much time do you spend in your head versus connected to your heart. We are so busy. There's an endless number of wonderful, good things that we can be involved in that keep us so busy. There is no time to pause, reflect, and connect and remember. Those things happen here, not here. And the confusion about the difference between worth and self-esteem can also play a part in not believing or remembering or feeling like it's true that our worth is constant, that it can't be earned or proved. So worth, we've talked about. Self-esteem is how we see and view ourselves, and that is based on our choices. Our worth does not change based on our choices. For those of you who have children, it's easy to see. Think about your children. Think about when they've made mistakes. Have you loved them less? Have you seen them as having less worth? No, of course not. We struggle to be able to recognize that is true for us as well. Our loving heavenly parents love us perfectly. And choices that we make, mistakes that we make, don't change our worth. They will certainly impact our self-esteem. They can certainly impact how we see ourselves and feel about ourselves. But that is not the same thing as worth. All right, so here are some ways to remember and connect. And this makes such a difference when you can remember and connect to your true worth, your eternal worth. So, as we've talked about, would you describe any of God's creations, those favorite creations that you love, would you describe any of them as average, adequate, sufficient? They're good enough. Of course not. That's not how you would describe any of God's creations. So, this is your reminder to pause and reflect and recognize the significance of your worth. Second way is to think about the way that you talk to yourself. We all talk to ourselves. Some of us are more aware of what we're saying than others, but we all talk to ourselves. We're giving ourselves messages all day long, day in and day out. Are you talking to yourself like a divine daughter of God? And if not, how do you start to shift that? And then, as I was talking about with head versus heart, intentionally create some space to pause, reflect, and connect. The still small voice, right, can speak truth to us, but it's still and it's small and it's quiet. If we're just running from sunup to sundown, we don't have any chance of tuning in and connecting with the truth that is there for us. Knowing your worth, knowing that it cannot increase or decrease, believing that, connecting with that will make a difference in your daily life. Thanks for hanging out. Until next time, remember, you are so much more than good enough.